Hello, everybody, and welcome to our afternoon session today on Tuesday, July 9th. Today, we're going to be talking about and working on final projects and final project presentations. So all along, we have been working on the final projects every week. There has been an assignment due related to that, and all the readings and activities each week have been meant to help inform your final project choices, your lesson plan units, and how you're designing them, and so on. With that in mind, I'd like to ask if anybody has any questions about anything that has happened up until now. Any questions? No?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
I just need some clarification. So next week we won't have Zoom meetings, right?
Correct. Next
And
week is
we are going to work with our partners on our project. Like I review her project and she's going to review mine and we collaboratively work together, right?
yes, and I'm going to go
Okay.
into that in much more detail in today's session.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right. So, first things first. Yesterday, in the live session, and also in yesterday's email, I sent out a link to a doodle poll asking you what time you could meet for your final presentations during week 7. Have you completed that poll? I'm going to go one by one and ask you, starting with Jamil. Have you done the poll?
Yes, Bethany, I did.
Wonderful, thank you.
I don't know. It doesn't show that
I'm not in control of the poll. OLC asked me to send it out.
Okay. You are not the poller, right?
I'm not.
You're not
I'm
the
just
poller.
I have no power. I'm just the errand girl in this case.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I did it, and I confirmed it, and I went through. Yeah, not too many people they made it. I think I made it last week on the weekend. I think so. It's not yesterday. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first I sent out that link was yesterday. So the poll I'm talking about is the one that asks you what time you can do your final presentation in week 7.
Exactly.
So
that's the one.
Okay.
That's
All
the
right.
one. I did it.
Wonderful.
I did it, and I remember this is the 25th, the time that combined with my hours. That's why.
Fantastic. All right.
Thursday. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. All right. And Weiying, yes. Jing, yes. Ying Sung, not yet. Okay, we'll go ahead and take care of that as soon as possible. Ying Sung, do you need the link again? Or are you okay? You're okay. Great. All right. Let me check that off my list. Doodle poll check. All right. Next question in preparation for all this final project activities. Have you made a connection with one or more people to do your work on the final project for week 6? Again, I'm just going to go around the room and I'm going to start with Jamil because you're at the top of my list on my screen anyway. Jamil, have you decided who you're going to be working with on your final project for feedback during week 6?
Yes, I did. I
Uh,
guess I don't remember the name right now. In fact, I received a couple of emails and we decided. I don't know if it's with Shuang, probably. Is she there now?
She was in the early group this morning. She's not here now. But
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you do
yeah,
have
yeah,
somebody to
yeah,
work with.
yeah. We did.
Okay,
Okay,
wonderful. Thank you.
I did. Thank you.
Uh-huh. And Wing, you are working with Crystal and somebody else, is that correct?
I'll be working with Wenjing, Wenjing Huang. I think she's here,
Uh-huh.
and Miss Lin. I don't know. I forgot her first name. Miss Lin also contacted me, and she would like to work with me. And then I said, okay, how about we 3 work together? But I haven't talked with Wenjing Huang yet.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that your plans are in the works. That helps me a lot. Ying Sun, how about you? Not yet. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm gonna hold off on that. Also, Ting also does not have anybody yet. Okay. Vivian, you're working with let me see. I have Su Hong and Li Feng. Is that correct? Vivian, did you make it back from your phone call? Okay, I'm guessing not. And Winting, I have you down. Okay. So everybody except for, okay, for the purpose of today, because we are going to be working together in teams for the live session, but I am going to put Yingsun and Jing together for today. If you want to continue that partnership in week 6, that will be great, but you don't have to. Okay. Wonderful. Super duper duper. Okay. Oh no. I understand. All right. Thank you for letting me know. Next thing. So at least we've got mostly everybody partnered up. All right. Now let's talk about that would be great because we're going to go through like tips for working together and so on and so forth. So during week 6, that's next week, we've blocked off the entire week. There are some readings, but mostly week 6 is about you revising your final projects, your lesson plan units, and assessing yourself, and also reviewing your team members' work and providing them with suggestions and assessing them and helping them get better, and they're going to help you get better and make your lesson units as best as they can be. So that is week 6. You can, of course, start early. I know some of you have been providing feedback to each other on your final projects since week 2, and thank you for that. You can, of course, begin this week, even if you haven't provided feedback to anybody. You can certainly start now. All feedback, I'm sure everybody will welcome a fresh pair of eyes on their projects. But let's take a look at the final project again, just to refresh our minds on what's expected. We'll talk about the final project and the final project presentation and your work together and how you can help each other out. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm not going to share my email. The final project overview, we're going to start there. So, of course, you have been working on the final project. Every week, there's been a deliverable. Week 1, it was a description about what modality, that is blended, online, hybrid, face-to-face, what modality. Week 2 was your DEI considerate. I'm sorry, week 1 was just a draft of your lesson plan. Week 2 was thinking about your lesson plan within the context of the modality, blended, online. Of course, because your lesson will look different if you're doing it face-to-face or online or blended. It's going to have some changes to how you facilitate things, how you run things. Week 3 was your, that was that integrated performance assessment. That was the steps, the backward design, where you identified the goals. I'll show it to you. It's easier. The standards, the essential question, the instructional goals, and so on. So that was week 3. And then week 4 was, how are you going to improve presence, interaction, active learning, and so on with technology? So what is the technology enhancement? In this particular course, the whole thing has been about using technology more effectively in whatever modality that you choose. So if you are in a face-to-face setting, you're using technology for example, providing content, interactive content, or for helping the students practice with something, or technology for them to present what they've learned, so those presentational skills, and so on. So you have to have some form of technology enhancement that should be addressing interaction, presence, active learning, and so on. And then this week, of course, is all about facilitating. And that's all the things that you're doing to help build community, to help support student engagement, to help presence and feedback, presence and interaction, and of course to provide feedback. All of the different things that you would be doing during your lesson unit to accomplish all of these things. And then week 6, you and your partners, your teammates that you're working with, and of course you can work with multiple groups, all right, but you're going to be working together to look at the assignment requirements and to look at a few other things that I will show you in a minute, and to provide feedback on those things to each other to help improve your lessons. Okay. So what are those things? And again, you can start this, and you will be doing some of this work today, but you can start at any time, but this is the bulk of week 6, what you're doing. Okay, so your draft facilitation plan, and then week 6, working together to complete that Star Talk form, which is that file I was just showing you. Oops, sorry. That file that I was just showing you. That's the Star Tech final project form. You're going to complete that and do peer reviews. Okay. All leading towards week 7, where you're going to input that lesson from that form, because you'll now have all the information that you need to actually create a lesson at Star Talk. To create your lesson with the title, the description, the topic, the language, the learning environment, classroom, blended, and so on, okay? The age group, the target performance level. I mean, basically that whole worksheet provided you with an opportunity for all of the information you will need to complete this Star Talk unit. And that, along with the discussion of your lesson itself, are what you will do in week 7. You'll present to us your lesson plan, along with the link to the Star Talk lesson that you input. And you'll tell us a little bit about it. All right. And by tell us a little bit about it, there is a slide that you can modify to add your information. So there's instructions for how to do this. Basically, you're going to edit it in PowerPoint or Google Slides. It's up to you. You're going to plan for about 7 minutes, give or take. It's going to be assessed. Your presentation is going to be assessed 40% on your lesson design, which has the information and bullet points here. 30% on your key takeaways, which is connecting your readings to your lesson and your takeaway moments and so on. And then 30% on your reflections about your personal growth in this program. What areas do you feel like you strengthened through working on these projects, on this project? All right. So you have your presentation, your name, your picture, if you wish to include it there. But you've got those 3 parts: lesson design, key takeaways, and looking back. In your lesson design, you're going to tell us a little bit about alignment. That is the connections between your learning objectives, your world readiness standards, and how your activities, how your practice, how your formative and summative assessments all work together to help the student achieve the stated objective and the stated readiness standard at the level that you said: novice, novice mid, intermediate, etc. How you address engagement, cognitive engagement, emotional engagement with the materials, with the activity, what technology and resources you used and how those support the learning objectives, how they contributed to engagement. And then, of course, your DEIA, or if you happen to be in a school like Texas, where this is illegal, how you addressed individual student needs. Okay? So you're going to tell us a little bit about that, whatever you need to talk about there. Your key takeaways are going to be your aha moments as connected to what you read and what you experienced and what you practice in this class, either through the discussions, through the readings, through your own personal research and work, your work with others, and so on. And then, of course, finally, you're looking back, your personal growth trajectory, your personal growth journey in this course. All right, so I'm going to stop there. That's a lot. Any questions so far?
Excuse me?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Jamil.
Yes, so basically the final project gonna be an oral presentation based on a PowerPoint design.
Your final project is your lesson unit that you have been working on all along. And you're going to take all of that information and put it in StarTalk Create so that it is an open educational resource for any teacher to use. And then your presentation is telling us about your lesson unit, specifically alignment, blah, blah, blah. And your presentation will be in a live session like this, where you'll be sharing your screen with your PowerPoint, telling us a little bit about each of those things that I just mentioned.
It's great. I like it.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yay.
Hopefully we'll be all right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Now, when you are working with your team members, any kind of support is great. Okay. If you want to help each other with your presentations, if you want to help each other, you know, I mean, you have to do the reviews, you have to do the peer review and give feedback. So you'll be giving the peer reviews, but beyond that, I mean, if you want to work together to refine your presentations or refine your projects, come up with new ideas, anything is fine. We're not limiting you. I mean, in the real world, often, I don't know about you, but I always go to other teachers and I say, hey, what do you think about this? Give me some ideas. And they ask the same thing. What do you think about this? And so anything is fine. Any kind of working together. Let's see. Let's talk.
Yeah,
Yes.
a quick question, Bethany. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I missed. So although we can have some, this type of collaboration, which is great, working as a group team, for the peer reviews, but in the end, everyone needs to share their final project in the Star Talks, right? That platform, and
Yes.
also need to do their own, like each one of us need to present, right? Okay.
That is a great question. Yes.
Clarify. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Each person will submit their own lesson to StarTalk, and each person will present as an individual. So you can work together and collaborate to help each other out on your lessons, but the presentation and end product of your lesson that's all you. Okay, and you can help each other fill out these forms and make sure, you know, all of that. La, la, la. Any other questions about that? All right, so a few more things then. The grading criteria. Completeness and accuracy of the lesson unit plan. That is this that you've been working on all along. Okay, so that should be fairly straightforward. The fact that you clearly include or address STAR Talk principles, the TEL framework, and the things you've learned in this class. And I've been giving you feedback on that, and you can give each other feedback on that during week 6 or now and in week 6. You don't have to demonstrate every single STAR Talk principle in your lesson unit, but you will be addressing some of them. Same with the TEL framework, and the same with the quality course criteria. It should have, again, at least one technology enhancement. That enhancement could be anything from you've created an interactive PowerPoint for your students to practice, to you're running a Zoom session for a particular lesson, and anything in between, okay? I know many of you have created a lot of content prior to coming to this course, and that's fine. If you want to use that as your technology enhancement, but you should stretch yourself, modify it in some way, or somehow, you know, apply something that you've learned to make previous content even better. And then, of course, just your clarity and your adherence to the guidelines. And there's a few other things, and I'll point those out in a second. And of course, if you haven't downloaded the template yet, all you have to do is click on the final project presentation template. That will prompt you to make a copy in your Google Drive. At this point, if you want to work on it in Google Drive, you can give it a name, etc. But if you would rather, you can always say file and download as PowerPoint and work on it as PowerPoint. But I will tell you, if you're going to help each other on your presentations as well as your final projects, it's probably easier to give and receive feedback in Google. But I will leave that up to you and your team members to decide how you're going to work together. And then if you haven't created an account in STAR Talk yet, make sure to create that account. I mean, we all worked through that in week 3, but if you just followed along and didn't actually do it, now's the time. You're going to want to do that so you can get support in case you need it if you run into problems. Okay. And I can help you with that. And then remember, here are those exemplary lessons that you can revisit. Okay. Like here's one, our identities for novice mid. And you can see what the description looks like, what the performance task looks like, what the check for learning is. And notice there are at least 2, they call them episodes, but we called them, you can call it an activity, you can call it, you're going to have different names for it, I'm sure. We all use different terminology here. But the point is that you need to have 2 episodes using Star Talk. One of them would be the formative assessment of the subject of the learning objective. And one of them would be the summative assessment. So, the practice opportunity, and then the final assessment is basically what we're looking for. Okay, and you can have more than 2, but you have to have at least 2. All right. Any questions now?
Bethany,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know whether you have answered my question. Who will be our audience when we make presentations?
Oh, I missed that question. I apologize. We will be your audience. We, as in everybody in this class, as well as several members of OLC. You met them during week 1, during that first presentation where we had like several, I don't know if you remember that. That feels like forever ago now, but we had several OLC people presenting to you. And then in week 2, we had 2 different people presenting. They'll all be part of the audience for your final presentation.
So will we be required to attend other people's presentation, or it's just an option?
It's not an option. That doodle poll that I asked you about at the very beginning was to set the date and time. So we asked everybody's input for the week 7 live session where you'll all be presenting. It's going to be like 3 hours, and each person's going to take about 7 minutes, give or take, to present their final project, and everybody else will be listening.
Oh, I see. So I know I will make a presentation, but my question is, am I required to attend other people's presentation, like listen to other people's presentations?
Yes, that's that meeting time. We'll all be there. That's our required meeting in week 7 that everybody's voting on.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So a little bit more. Let's take a look at week 6, which is when you'll be doing most of your work together. Each week, there's the presentation guidelines, by the way, and the slide template link again for your convenience. All right. So during week 6, each module is going to go through one of those 4 elements: alignment, engagement, technology, and attention to individual students, aka DEIA. All right. So the readings for alignment, there's a quick check here that kind of summarizes all of the stuff that we've talked about when we talked about alignment back in week 2 and week 3. So this will help walk you through all of the things that you should be thinking about when you're looking at your work and self-assessing. And it also should be the things that you focus on when you're giving feedback to whomever is on your team. Okay, so several things here in each of these areas. So this should really help you focus your efforts on the feedback that you're providing to others, and also focus your efforts on like a mental checklist of, have I included this? Have I made sure I've done that? Have I achieved this? Does my lesson plan do that? And so on. So each module, you'll have one of these summaries and quick checks of all of the content that's gone before, and then a self-evaluation. Oh, he's so slow. Where you will complete, let me go to it. Where it will ask you to use that summary and quick check that I just showed you, right? And then evaluate it. And then explain what you're doing well and what you need to improve. So it's a text submission, so you're going to type in your responses. And of course, you can prepare those in advance and then just copy and paste them in the text block. All right. But that is next week. So you'll do the evaluations, self and peer that you're working with, or peers that you're working with, and then you'll provide feedback. The other thing that you will be doing is the discussion, the final project discussion. I mean, we've been doing these all along, but in week 6, it has here, you know, post your lesson, your link to your document that should be completed. Respond to these questions, and then reply to the person that you're working with or people that you're working with, and either add your comments in the discussion forum as your reply to that person, or just put them on their lesson plan document. That I will leave up to you and the person or people you're working with, whether you find it easier to work on the actual document, adding comments like this, or if it's easier to do it in the discussion forum. That will be up to you, but I will have to see your peer feedback somewhere, either on the document or in the discussion forum. Questions? I'm catching up on the chat. Hold on. All right. So is everybody comfortable moving forward, how you're going to work together, who you're going to work with, and the final presentations in week 7? Comfortable? Yes? No? Okay. I'm gonna
Bethany?
stop. Yes.
Yeah, I have, I just got my computer and I have Shuang Li, as I mentioned,
Uh-huh.
plus Yi Han. I don't know. They are not here today, right? They are in the first session, probably.
Actually, she's in Boulder right now, I think, so she isn't able to attend today.
Yeah, I mean, these are my partner to
Okay.
work with on next week. Okay, just
Okay.
I don't know, like we agree on the days, but we didn't agree yet on a time to get together. Probably we'll do it by Monday. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And that reminds me, you can work together. I mean, we asked you during the survey how you wanted to work together, synchronously or asynchronously. And we asked you that to help you partner with someone who wanted to work in a way similar to you, who wanted to work together. But you can, now that you're partnered up, you can work together however, whatever works best for you. Okay. I'm not going to monitor and say, why haven't you met in Zoom or, you know, anything like that. Work together, whatever works best for you. Okay. So working together, final presentations, check, check, check. Okay. Next steps. Next steps. Remember to read the readings for this week on your facilitation plan, and you can be working on your facilitation plan, your week 5 facilitation plan. Okay. Other than that, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break you out into groups and give you an opportunity to talk with each other about your projects. You may not end up with a person that you are planning to work with next week, but this time you're going to work with somebody, a random person, to get some feedback and to talk about your projects and just generally hash things out a little bit. Make sure that you're both like understanding everything I've said. And I'm going to come around to each room and answer any questions you have as individuals within your group. And we're going to do that for the remainder of this class. And let me stop sharing. The last group, they were really hesitant about this, but it turned out that they were actually thrilled for the opportunity to work in a small group. I know some of you may feel a little intimidated, but honestly, it'll be great. You can just talk to each other about your projects, get a little feedback, or talk to each other about your understanding of the requirements, whatever will be helpful for you, and just see where it takes you. Everybody got some really great ideas in the earlier session, so I promise it'll be worthwhile. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm going to put you in a group of 2 and a group of 3. And let you chit chat. Give me 1 second.
Hey, Bethany, do you mind to share that the Excel spreadsheet, the link?
I will share it, yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I mean, I know it's somewhere.
No problem. I will, after I put everybody in rooms, I'll come around and share it with you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right, so I have assigned you to rooms and I'm gonna open up the rooms. And I think you'll be prompted to join the breakout room, okay? And then you'll have access to the chat and to voice and everything, just like in this main room, all right? So go ahead and join those rooms, the breakout room. And I will come around and chat with you. Do you know how to join the breakout room? Wenjing? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, I'm not sure what happened, why, I think Wenjing must have stepped away from the computer. Because I had put you together in a room and I wasn't getting a response. So I'm gonna have to shift things around a little bit here, okay? So give me
Okay.
1 second and I will try and adapt to the situation, okay?
Okay.
I'll be right back. Wenjing, I believe you stepped away from your computer. Hello?